we developed a system that can shorten into one day the work of marine ecologists that usually takes them 3 months.
Magandang araw mga kapwa siyentista. Welcome sa BTS or ang Behind the Science podcast, kung saan kakausapin natin ang mga nangungunang siyentista sa iba't ibang field sa College of Science ng UP Diliman. This podcast is co-presented by the UP College of Science ng Diliman, UP Diliman, and UP Resilience Institute. So for today, we are very fortunate to have our guest. She is from the National Institute of Statistics. Please welcome Ma'am Maricor Soriano or Ma'am Jean Soriano. Hello po ma'am, welcome po sa podcast.
Magandang umaga, hapon, or kung anumang oras ito i-issue.
Ayun po. So, intro ko lang po kayo ng mabilisan, no ma'am? So, si Ma'am Maricor or si Ma'am Jean is a professor ng physics sa NIT UP Diliman, where she heads the video and image processing group. So yung lab niya works on multidisciplinary problems that require developing hardware and software imaging solutions. As of today, she has worked with parasitologists and computer scientists for malaria imaging, museum research for cultural heritage conservation, and sports scientists for video-based tracking of athletes' performance. Wow! Very malawak ang scope ng work ni ma'am. So, since nga multidisciplinary work yung kanyang pinagtutuunan ng pansin, she was also recognized as NASC Outstanding Young Scientist in 2006 and in 2013 as one of the Outstanding Women in Nation Service or in Towns Award. In 2015, she was chosen as one of the 10 scientists in the First Leaders in Innovation Fellowship of the UK Newton Fund. So her work on coral reef assessment and visualization won her team the Pictured R&D Award in 2018. So ayan, very prolific and very interesting field of research care of Ma'am Jean. So Ma'am Jean, before we go to the science of it all, let's go to the young and curious you. Balikan po natin yung inyong kabataan and let us ask the question, when did you realize that you would want to work in the science sector?
Bata pa ako, parang gets ko na mahilig ako sa science. Noong grade 2 ako, ang textbook namin, maraming drawing. Tapos yung favorite character ko dun sa science textbook namin is a little boy named Noy Noy na naka-sandal and shorts and chinelas. Tapos he goes about helping his mom do the laundry and stuff. Pero each time, merong science lesson. Nakakatuwang tingnan yung parang cartoons na textbook na yon. Tapos na-pick yung curiosity ko dun sa mga istorya behind the comics doon sa na yon, sa textbook na yon. After that, nung pinag-decide na ako na magkuha ng course sa college, naghanap ako ng course na pwedeng makatulong. Kasi parang yun lang gusto ko to help. Ganyan. And sa akala ko, maybe I want to be a doctor. Mag-doktor. Tapos, bali ang ginawa ko is, nung pinagkuha ako ng UPCAT, ang pinili ko, pre-med. Mga pre-med courses na mga quota courses. Psychology, biology. Hindi ko alam yung mga quota courses pala yun. Pero sa madaling salita, hindi ako pumasa ng pumasa ako sa UPCAT, pero hindi ako pumasa dun sa quota ng mga
pre-med courses.
Pre-med courses na yon. Bali, since nakapasa ako sa UP, sabi nila, I can choose a degree program with available slot. Tapos, so, dinignan ko yung list, tapos nakita ko, physics, nag-enjoy ako sa physics ng high school. Yeah, yun. So, that's why I ended up taking up BS Physics. Pero bata pa ako, mahilig na ako sa science.
So, bata pa lang, at an early age, kwento ng buhay ng lahat po ng nasa science field, no? Na bata pa lang, maagang namulat sa sciences and eventually took on or went to a path dun sa sciences po.
I strongly believe, what, I think kids are natural scientists, I think. Kasi usually their first question is why? Bakit? Di ba?
Yes.
Pag marunong mong salita yung mga bata, makulit sila, matanong sila, di ba? So I think we're born natural scientists. We as kids.
So, nasa ano na lang talaga, ma'am, no? Kung papagpatuloy nila yung pagiging curious nila.
Yeah. We are naturally curious when we're born, di ba?
So, from BS Physics to now, paano po nyo na hone in na yung current field po ninyo, yung gusto ninyong tahakin?
Ito. Kasi ang field ko, Kit, ay video and image processing. At nagsimula yan dahil kailangan namin mag-thesis sa BS Physics. Okay? At para magkaroon ka ng thesis, dapat meron kang thesis advisor. Sakto, noong third year ako, bumalik sa bansa si Dr. Cesar Saloma. Kilala mo siya, yung naging chancellor din natin. Before that, naging dean ng College of Science, and before that, director ng NIP. But even before that, he came back after a sandwich program in Osaka, Japan. Came back as a faculty ng National Institute of Physics. So when he came back, he was recruiting students to the lab. So ako yung isa sa mga na-recruit niya. And then nagsimula yung passion ko for research kasi nang minamentor na kami ni Dr. Saloma, first assignments niya sa amin, program mo to create transport. Enjoy ako doon. Tapos, may seminar kami every week. Tapos, libre kaming mamili ng topic na gusto naming in seminar. Tapos, hindi naman nawala yung pagiging gusto kong maging doktor dati, yung hilig ko sa medicine. So, sabi ko, what if maghanap ako ng seminar paper na tungkol sa medical field na may imaging. At nakakita nga ako. And simula nun, na-realize ko na, itong paper na to na una kong nabasa, gumagamit ng image processing. So doon nagsimula yung interest ko na, ito pala, a picture can be converted or a scene can be converted into numbers. And since they are numbers, you can manipulate them automatically. And you can extract more information from digitized images. Yun. So, doon nagsimula lahat ng research ko at interest ko sa image processing. And because maraming agencies or maraming gumagamit ng image to do their work, it can be a very multidisciplinary field. Did you see dun sa introduction kung sino-sino na yung mga naging kakolaborator? Kasi lahat sila may kailangan ng image. Tinitingnan nila yung image, tapos kailangan nila i-process yung image. So, me and my students come in to help them process their image or even capture their image. So, yun.
Ang very interesting nung ma'am, nung field ninyo actually. Kasi yun nga, like you've said, maraming different fields pa ang gumagamit ng imaging for their data and for minsan, source na talaga siya ng data, ma'am, di ba? So, very interesting and na-i-connect niyo pa rin talaga dun sa inyong unang passion na gusto niyo mag-med.
Yeah. So, hindi man ako naging doktor na gumagamot. May PhD pa rin ako. May doktor pa rin ako. Pero,
doktor pa rin ako.
Full circle nga nung we started working on malaria images with Department of Public Health. College of Public Health, Department of Parasitology in UP Manila. Yeah, sorry.
So, ayun, ma'am. Thank you for sharing and sana yung mga batang nakikinig sa atin ngayon, hanapan din nila ng inspiration to pursue science yung mga narinig nila sa inyo based from your early years and early career as a scientist and researcher. From there, we move forward na po. So, ang inyong paper po on the reef mapping ng coral reef, rapid mapping ng coral reef, using teardrop system. Ito pong paper na to ang ating pag-uusapan today. So, ma'am, in one sentence, can you explain the concept behind this paper?
We developed a system that can shorten into one day the work of marine ecologists that usually takes them 3 months.
Oh. So, yeah, hence the word rapid.
Yes.
So,
pwede na ako mag-explain with more sentences.
Ayan ba? Ayan. So, paano po kayo dito nag-come up? Paano tayo na-formulate ng research? Anong nagbigay ng idea for this paper?
Mangyari kasi, noong 2006, nagkaroon ng oil spill sa Guimaras, di ba? And then, The Department of Science and Technology invited scientists to propose projects to help in studying and reducing the risk dun sa environment because of the oil spill. All right. So me and my collaborators from Marine Science Institute got together, rather than be Dr. Villanoy, we got together and put up a proposal. Ang point kasi is matagal mag-assess ng reef and especially damage sa reef. Ito na yung oil spill, parating na, palapit na sa inyo. Anong magagawa mo, di ba? So dapat kung ma-assess mo before the damage na okay, ito yung extent ng coral reef. Ito yung madadamage. So, pag ma-measure mo yung area or potential area of damage, you can sue for economic damages. Okay? So, that's why naisip namin, what if we can rapidly assess or even measure the extent of a coral reef or even its condition in a rapid way? Because back then, the current technique for assessing, measuring coral reefs was very time-consuming, very tedious, a lot of manual labor. How do they do it back then? There's such a thing as a rapid reef assessment. Pero yung rapid reef assessment na yon ay kailangan walang visual record, walang permanent visual record. May itutow lang na trained personnel na nakahawak siya sa isang board na tinutow ng bangka. Tas with goggles, titingin siya sa ilalim ng tubig and sasabihin niya, okay, the reef condition is good, is poor, is bad, ganon. Mantato ang tawag doon. It's an established and accepted technique, but it's a rapid reef assessment na visual. The problem with that technique is there is no permanent visual record. And two observers can have two different opinions about or two different assessments. But then, ang nangyari is they can also do so such that para magkaroon ng permanent visual record, ang ginawa nila is magkuha ng video ng coral reefs. But you would need scuba diver, okay? And an underwater video to do that. So, ang isa pa sa mga standard techniques na ginagawa na ngayon ng mga marine scientists in order to assess or monitor the reef is they lay a transect line, usually 50 meters in a section of reef, and they take videos or pictures along that line. And back in the lab, or they look at the video and they count the corals frame per frame. Can you imagine how tedious that is? So, yun yung sinabi sa akin ng mga marine scientist friends ko na, kasi I asked them, what way can I help you sa mga image processing problems nyo? So, they told me about how they assess the reefs. And you can imagine, it's a very tedious process. And back then, wala pang digital camera. Kumukuha talaga sila ng negatives films, dinidevelop nila. Tapos, isa-isa nilang tinitignan yung picture. Of course, nung naging digitized na yung image, ayun na lang, ipa-flash na lang sa monitor. Tapos, magka-count na lang sila sa monitor. My goodness, sabi ko, tagal nun. That's why it takes them months to assess a coral reef. Paano pag biglang nag-oil spill, hindi ka na-assess yung reef? Di dapat paspasan, makakuha ka ng assessment ng reef. So, because of what happened in Guimaras and because of the current techniques nga, back then, the techniques was very tedious and long and slow. Sabi namin, okay, let us propose a system to make a reef assessment rapid. So that's why we proposed the Automated Rapid Reef Assessment System project. Okay. Kaso na-approve lang siya, 2006 yung Guimaras oil spill, 2007 yung call for proposals, na-reject siya at the start kasi it turns out pala, the term rapid reef assessment is a reserved word among, kumbaga, ginagamit na siya na term to denote yung mabilisan, paspasan na, parang yung tinuto ka lang, tapos tinitignan mo, chinecheck mo lang. Akala nila, yun yung gagawin namin. Akala nung first reviewer na ito yung nagagawin namin. And in fact, the rejection letter said, there is already somebody doing rapid reef assessment in these places. Sabi ko, no, this is automated. I think they missed the point. So our proposal that we submitted in 2007 got rejected and got shelved. But in 2009, it was resurrected by DOST again also. Tapos sabi nila, sige, you can repropose this because we can partner you with scientists in Taiwan. And so we did repropose it. And doon, 2010 lang na-approve. And from 2010, dire mo, 2010, sunod-sunod na yan na nagkaroon ng nanganak yung project na yan. 2010, tapos 2013, 14, 17, up to 2018. Dire-diretso kaming nagpa-project tapos sa coral reefs. And so we developed this first project, Automated Rapid Reef Assessment System. We developed a system that is diverless, and it's just a platform. The teardrop in the title of the paper is what we call the towable platform, where you put down underwater camera. The idea is very, very simple. Matagal kasi you have a diver, right? And divers are limited by scuba air. They can only stay so long. I mean, wala pang isang oras sila pwedeng mag-dive, no? But if you remove the diver, and you note na ang dami-daming bangka sa Pilipinas, di ba? Bakit hindi mo na lang ilagay yung camera sa isang towable na platform, tapos kuha ka ng video ng coral reefs. Tapos, ang contribution namin is gumawa kami ng software na kayang mabilis na stitch itong video na to into image mosaics. And yung pinaka-latest na ginawa namin, ginagamitan namin ng deep learning para automatically assess na rin kung ano yung nakikita doon. So, in the end, we were able, in one full day, walang kapagod-pagod niya, ang limitation mo lang is araw. Kasi, syempre, ang coral reefs, nag-exist sila shallow kasi corals are animals that have zooxanthellae on their skin and they need sunlight. These zooxanthellae need sunlight to produce food. So corals are filter feeders, but they also have zooxanthellae that produce food for them so that they need sunlight. So medyo shallow lang sila, mga 5 to 10 meters. Usually doon makikita sila. Okay? And so, we can capture video the whole day from say 8 to 4 or even 8 to 5 pag maliwanag pa hanggang 5. Dire-diretso. And our only limitation is the battery of the camera. But okay lang, kung marami kang GoPro na naka-ready, pag naubos yung battery na isa, saksak mo na, tapos doon naman. We can do 35 kilometers in a day. 35 kilometers of coral reefs in a day. So yon. And usually, ilang meters lang. Kapag tao ang gagawa nun, isang tao could do 50 meters. Several 50 meters watts in a day. Pero we can do kilometers. 35 kilometers, imagine. That's why it's rapid reef assessment.
Grabe, ma'am. Parang ano talaga, need is the ultimate innovator, kumbaga. So dahil sa nangangailangan tayo ng mas mabilis na paraan ng pag-assess, you came up with this system and it's now very much being used, I hope, ng Marine Science Institute.
Hindi lang. Kasi after our project, I got invited to be one of the leaders of innovation. And ang ibig sabihin nun kasi, it was a program of DOST, Asian Institute of Management, and the UK Newton Fund, Britain, to train scientists to become business-minded. Kasi ang sabi natin na, dami-dami nating inventions, ganyan. Pero, what has come up with it? So, meron kang patent, but is it being used? Ganyan. So, para ma-sustain mo kasi, the idea is, sure, I have a project. The project funds come from the DOST. But what happens after the project? We have this invention, fine. Tapos after that, tapos na yung project. Tapos na yung mga final report, financial report. What then? If you want to keep or to sustain the project, of course, sure, you can file for another project funding. That's not guaranteed, but you can try. But another way of sustaining the project is, how about making a business around the project? And then you become self-sustaining. Yun yung naging turo sa amin. Okay. So what happened was, since I was invited as a leader of innovation fellow, so I got the training to think about business. Okay? You have an invention. How can you turn it into a business, ganyan. And so I invited some of my former research staff, sa project na to join me. We pitched in some competition, we won some competitions, and then we decided that we will put up a company. But in the end, I said, kayo na lang dyan sa company na yan that uses the techniques that we developed in the project. Kayo na lang. I think I cannot be part of it because magkakaroon ng conflict of interest ng mga professor here unless I resign as a professor and join the company full-time para magkakaroon ng conflict of interest. So, I dissociated from that company and now they're on their own. Antipara, they actually have several clients. They're using the technique. They have recently mapped the whole Tubataha Reef Natural Park. Yeah, clients. So that project that had many inventions, innovations, and data, and that led to training in creating a company, a business out of innovation. And now, my former students and staff are running a business.
Wow, ang galing naman nun, ma'am. Parang we can be scientists and entrepreneurs. Kasi yung idea natin, pwede talaga natin siyang maging source of livelihood na rin, in a way. Kakakitaan.
Yeah, it's the way of sustaining you must innovate all the time para masustain mo rin yung business.
So, ayun, nasagot na yung ating nakwento na ni ma'am yung paano nag-start and then what happened. Nasa na siya ngayon, ganun. So, nabanggit nyo kanina, ma'am, that you applied, you proposed yung project ninyo 2008. Tama, 2008 ba?
7 or 8. Between those
7
years.
So, DOST po ninyo sinabmit ito for funding?
Yes, good.
Tapos after nun, ma'am, na siya, yung funding nito was continuously po ba DOST or were there other?
Good question. Kasi after the automated rapid reef assessment project, we proposed a phase 2 called coral reef assessment and visualization advanced techniques, CRAVAT. And then actually the ENR learned about our work and said na, okay, we want to use your technology. So we together with, again, our marine scientist friends and friends from different universities, we proposed for the ENR. And we got a project also from the ENR, a big project from the ENR. We're in program, sorry. A program kasi is composed of many projects. So in that program, I have a project there using the IRIS technology. What we did, our aim was to train the different DENR regional offices how to use the technology. And then we donated also the equipment so that they can use the technology.
Galing naman, ma'am, na niya na talaga siya na nadala na natin siya into implementation with in partnership with the government. So
yes,
that's
so
actually
not only the OST but also the ENR. And then because of all those many years of the project continuing, we managed to map videos na at saka assessments ng ng mga coral reefs. We managed to map out of 10,000 kilometers of possible coral reef, fringing reef, we got 2,500 kilometers recorded.
So that's for the whole Philippines.
Hindi lang kami yan. Buong Philippines. I mean, hindi lang kami. It was done together with the regions. Because imagine mo, physicist ako, but I get to go to all these coral reefs. Tuwan-tuwa yung mga students and researchers. Kasi para kaming nagbakasyon all the time, papunta sa beach, ganyan, dagat, ganyan. Yeah, so all around the Philippines, so besides Mindanao, with ibang regions. And in each of these places, what we do first is we talk to the local government, we tell them about the research, we tell them about the technology. We actually ask their advice. Saan po ba pwede kami capture? Tapos, pwede nyo ba kami samahan? At pwede bang papakita namin yung technology, dodonate din namin to, bibigay rin namin sa inyong data. Can you give us feedback? Ano sa tingin nyo itong technology? So, importante na you get the feedback of your potential end users so that they advocate the use of the technology. Make them make them own the technology by asking them their feedback, etc. Yun. So, yung ginagawa namin, sa iba't ibang lugar around the Philippines where there are coral reefs, we talk to the environment management, Municipal Environment and Natural Resources Office and officers. Okay? So, and then we tell them, okay, this is the technology that we develop. We know that you're monitoring your coral reefs. Ito ay pampabilis ng trabaho nyo. What do you think about it? Can you suggest any improvements to it? And then, kasama sila sa fieldwork. And so they learn how to use the technology themselves.
Wow. So, ano talaga, ma'am, no? Parang, ang gandang isipin, parang in a few years time, if siguro buong Pilipinas, na-survey na, no, ma'am, meron na tayong baseline ng lahat ng coral cover dito sa Pilipinas.
Sana nga. Pero ang importante kasi ngayon, you know what, Kit, there's a movement na kailangan na natin and hopefully maging law na siya, it pass the third reading. Kailangan natin lagyan ng value, economic value, lahat ng ating natural resources. This is natural capital accounts. Tawag dito. Kasi mas papahalagahan mo kung kung linagyan mo ng price tag yung isang object kaysa yung libre lang siya. Lahat ng coral reefs may pina-provide na ecosystem services. So, kunyari, it provides protection for the coast. So, if you will put a value to the protection that the coral reefs provide to a coastal community, how much would it be? So, paano na i-evaluate yun? Pero before you can do that, you should know where the reefs are, their extent, condition, and then you can estimate the value or benefit that they provide. And the moment you put the value, the valuation will allow people to think na, okay, may accounts ka dito, may stocks ka dito, may yaman ka talaga dito. Okay? And accounting leads to accountability. So,
ang ganda na.
Pag may masira dyan, pwede kang mag-super economic damages. Hoy, yung coral reefs namin na sinadsadan nyo ng barko or nabuhusan nyo ng gasolina from the oil spill is actually worth 20 million, ganyan. We've been losing 20 million in ecosystem services. Parang ganun. So the idea is if you can put value on all your natural resources, then hopefully mas pahahalagahan. Imagine mo, local governments, kunyari, alam nila na, may coral reefs. So, tapos, usually ang kwento, yung mga mangingisda, minsan they do dynamite fishing, not knowing that they're destroying their valuable reefs. No? But if you explain to them na, pag sinira niyan, actually parang sisira tayo ng something worth XX millions of pesos in services and provisioning services. Yun. Ngayon, hopefully, the movement forward is putting values on these natural resources. One of which, of course, is coral reefs. So, the technology that we developed starting 2010 is in a position to help in measuring the extent and estimating the condition of coral reefs.
So, we hope for the best, ma'am, about dyan sa natin ng value sa mga ecosystem services natin. So with that, ma'am, since napag-uusapan na rin naman natin yung experiences ninyo sa research, ano po yung mga main challenges na-experience niyo while doing this research?
I can't say exactly the funding because the government has been very generous. We got the funding. I can't say usually the problema yung procurement because, alam mo ba, one thing good that came out of the pandemic is that na-streamline yung procurement system.
Actually po.
Okay, so, hindi ko naman masabi procurement. I think, ang naging challenge was retaining the people. Okay, for example, kung gusto mo na may mga researchers mo manatili, there should be continuous opportunity for them, right? So, ibig sabihin, ang ideal case would be the project ay manganganak ng another project, manganak ng another project, or eventually magiging company by itself. And so the project staff can do the business. Sometimes you would like the people to remain but they have other plans. So na-train na sila doon sa project pero they have other plans or they need to go on with their lives kasi hindi pa ready yung project funds. So I think this is a common story as project leaders na people we train that the people we want to hire are no longer around. Another challenge in this particular project, sometimes it is not really a challenge, but can we call it a challenge? But especially when you're dealing with local governments, okay, may kanya-kanya silang priority. So, for example, kung ang priority ng mayor is pagkakitaan yung minahan na nandun sa kanila kaysa pangalagaan yung coral reefs na naapektuhan na ng mga tailings ng minahan. So medyo may conflict of interest na din na nangyayari. Right? So, yung nakita naming challenge sometimes is even though we talk to the local governments to get them to advocate the use of this technology and to get them to take care of their environments, sometimes iba-iba yung priorities talaga ng local government.
So parang politics comes into play na rin, ma'am, dito eh. No po?
Yeah, pero we don't want to go there. It's just that hindi naman namin realm yan eh. It's just that ito sana yung magandang option but we have no control over that.
So ayun, ma'am. So tuloy-tuloy na natin to with the memorable experience. So let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Your memorable experiences while doing this research. So yung good muna, ma'am. Ano po yung pinaka-good na memorable experience ninyo?
I think that seeing there's no one memorable experience, but experiences perhaps. Seeing the beauty of the Philippines. Nakita ng research na buong Pilipinas pwede mong puntahan, tapos lahat ng mga may coral reefs pwede mong sisirin para makita. So the topic itself opened to me and my students opportunity na makita yung ganda ng Pilipinas. That was seeing people who are passionate about the environment. So to their credit, marami actually local government officials, their environment and natural resources officers that are very passionate about their work. And seeing them na, ito makakatulong sa trabaho namin. It's something validating for us scientists na gumagawa. And in fact, perhaps I could say that one of the most validating experience like that is noong 2013, sumadsad yung USS Guardian sa Tubataha natin. Tubataha Reefs. January yung sumadsad. So, na-damage niya yung part ng Tubataha. And kailangan i-assess yung how much of that coral reef, ano yung area ng coral reef na na-damage so that we can sue for economic damages sa US Navy, sa US government. And we were in a position, we were ready with the technology to do just that. And we were the team that were asked to help in the survey of the damage dun sa Tubataha. So yun, so as for a scientist na makita mo na yung work mo, your work found use during your lifetime is really very satisfying.
And I would imagine, ma'am, grabe yung pride and happiness ninyo na parang nagagamit sa mabuti and sa tamang paraan yung technology na na-develop ninyo.
Because that was the purpose in the first place.
Yeah.
Actually, nung nagka-college ako, sabi ko, gusto ko lang gawin is I really just want to help. So, ano bang course ano yung makakatulong? That's why ang una kong naisip is, well, anyway, bata ka, only exposure mo to people who are helpful are doktor, diba? Madalas doktor. Kasi madalas na hospital ka. Kaya una mong exposure is, nakakatulong tong doktor. I just wanted to help. Ayun. And turns out you can help kung saan ka man saan ka mang career na padpad, you can actually do it, help in any way you can.
Okay. So ayun, ma'am, thank you. Sa good, let's now go to the medyo hindi good. Sa bad tayo. Meron po ba?
Oo. Kasi pag ang bad perhaps yun yung nakita mo ng mga damage na reefs. Yun siguro. And yun na nga, yun may makita ka ng mga officials na actually they're in cahoots with those who are damaging the environment. Yan. Kaya ganon. So, yeah, yun lang. Makalungkot lang.
Ma'am, ganun talaga ang ating, minsan, hindi naman natin nilalahat, pero minsan ganun talaga ang way of, nila ng funds or para kumita yung mga towns natin sa probinsya.
Walang tayo mag-judge.
Oo. Ayun lang, parang lang din, syempre ma'am, nakakalungkot nga din po. From a standpoint na you want to help and yet wala kang magawa kasi tali din yung kamay po ninyo kasi hindi kayo pwedeng makapasok without their permission. Ayun ma'am. So, with regards po dun sa paper na na-publish po ninyo, at what point po did you realize na okay na to, publishable na yung data natin, submit na natin to?
Full disclosure, the paper that you cited is a conference paper, right? It's not a Corpuz or ISI paper. Pero the thing is, we wanted to advertise the work. So conference yung namin. By the time na pinablish namin yan, we had enough evidence na it really works. I mean, it can be done. So the objectives of the project were already met na, okay, we can do rapid reef assessment system. So it was time to advertise that. And that's the purpose usually of publishing, to advertise your work and to get other people to try and use it.
So, I think ma'am, nabanggit niyo naman din kanina po with regards to the plans moving forward with this research. Yung nabanggit niyo kanina yung company na in-start po, which is Antipara, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that's right.
And then, yun nga po, I would think na you're moving forward with other endeavors involving imaging pa rin, ma'am?
Oo. I mean, marami kaming iba't ibang projects, hindi lang naman tungkol sa coral reefs. That's why, very multidisciplinary itong lab ko. Kasi, a lot of images. So, what do you want to know? Kung ano yung ginagawa namin currently?
Yes, ma'am. Yun po yung sunod ko question.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, a little bit of a recent history. Katatapos lang ko ng project with Stamina for Space. We developed cameras for perhaps a future Diwata 3. Satellite cameras, but all of them were locally developed. Yeah, locally developed. We found companies that can do the precision tooling and the precision optomechanical machining for us. So, katatapos ng project niyon, we were able to make not one, not two, but 3 cameras. One of the cameras is designed to be attached to a drone, and in fact, it's being used. And some of my staff are already with the Philippine Space Agency, and they're continuing the work there. So, yan. So, and part of the legacy of that work is that we were able to find those companies, local companies. Their middle and top managers are Filipinos talaga, and they're very good. It turns out na, hey, we can do space technology here in the Philippines. Kailangan lang natin itap in mga companies that already have the capability of what is needed for space tech, like high precision. May mga ganon. So we found these companies. They're doing work on optics or for other companies, but and for automotive, ganyan, aerospace, and ganyan. But when we tap them, can you make this? We will make the designs. We can review the designs with you. They are capable of doing the space technologies. So yeah, so one legacy of the recent project was that we now know that local companies can do space tech, and we have contracted them, and we built 3 cameras with them. Okay, 3 space cameras, or one is a remote sensing camera on a drone, but 2 space cameras. And now some of our researchers are in Philippine Space Agency, and some of these companies also are being engaged in the Philippine Space Agency. So that's a recent project. Pero yung current work naman na ginagawa namin ng mga students ko, we're developing a device such that we can image wounds. Because wounds, of course you can take a picture of a wound, but measuring the surface and the depth of the wound, you would need to 3D that. Okay? And then, so yeah, we're working with LaSalle on this project to image diabetic foot ulcers. Then another ongoing project is that we're doing, we're updating, or rather we're improving microscopes. We're improving the resolution of microscopes using a technique known as Fourier ptychography microscopy.
So, very interesting multidisciplinary fields currently ongoing in your lab, ma'am. So, I wish you all the best po and more power to you and your lab. So, before we let you go, ma'am, would you have any advice for aspiring researchers na nakikinig sa atin ngayon?
Oh yeah, marami. How much time do you have? but one advice that I always give in a talk like this is this. Now, well, we scientists na mahilig mag-invent, usually sometimes we think na yung solution na provide natin would be the best option or would be the solution to the problems of society. But it turns out, hindi enough yun eh. The society or people should accept the solution. I mean, it happens all the time and it happens very often na, ito po ang solution na to ay makakatulong sa inyong problema. Pero, ang tanong is, gagamitin ba nila? Sasabihin ng mga tao na gusto mong tulungan, masyado namang mahal yan. Masyado namang matrabahong gamitin yun. Masyado namang komplikado yan. Mas madali pa yung dati namin ginagawa. Diba? Which is why, dapat, when you think of something, or rather, embark on research that would try to help some people or somebody, you must involve your potential end user in the development. Get their feedback often. That's why we do that. Yun sa paras, yung parati namin silang tinatanong, katulong po ba sa inyo? That's why, even before we go out and do field work, we ask them, ano po sa tingin nyo dito? Ano po problema nyo dito? Ano po ba matutulong namin? Ano tingin nyo dito sa solution na to? Ano po ba namin ma-improve? Always get their feedback. Always involve your end user in the development of your solution. Okay? Para in the end, they will have a sense of ownership over the solution. They will use it because they were part of the solution. Diba? Yun. Isa sa mga ano na yun. You don't think na ikaw yung nakakaalam ng what's best for the problem. No? You have to involve the end user in the design.
So parang ano ma'am, it goes beyond needs assessment na rin po talaga, no ma'am?
Yeah.
So, ayun ma'am. Meron mo kayong gusto sabihin before we go? Do you have anything to promote or to advertise?
Siguro dun sa mga manonood nito, perhaps, by the way, sino ba mga audience nyo usually?
Usually, ma'am, students, undergrad. We also have audiences na graduate students, tapos mga research assistants.
Okay. Sige. Anyway, very good. Young people. Eventually, young people some of them become parents. Alright. And kasi ganito, di ba? I said earlier that I think we begin our lives, young children, na natural scientists because usually the first thing you ask is why? Matanong tayo ng bata tayo at nawawala yan when we grow up. Pero sometimes, may mga iba sa atin na kumukuha ka ng mga science courses because hanggang then, mahilig sila sa science. Pero ang gusto ko lang sabihin sa mga audience is, sana kung mayroon kayong kids or young people in your family or of your own na nahilig sa science, the mga parents, particularly talking to the parents, uh, we really don't need to convince young people to go to the sciences. They are naturally born scientists. Kailangan natin i-convince yung mga parents nila. Kasi yung mga parents yung nagsasabi ko, ito, kunin mo tong kurso na to kasi dito may trabaho dyan. Di ba yung ganun? But we can show that science is a career. Science can be fun. Science can be adventurous. Science can be exciting. Science can lead to a fulfilling life. Okay? So, to the parents watching this podcast, kung nahihilig yung mga anak niya sa science, sana encourage niyo lang sila because there's a career, exciting career in science. Iyan lang.
Parang need kong i-clip yung sinabi ni Ma'am na science is parang daily affirmation. Ayun. So with that, Ma'am, thank you very much for giving your time and sharing your story with us. And more power po sa researches po ninyo.
Thank you.
Thank you po.
Thank you for having me.